All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're breaking down the government shutdown crisis. It's November 7th, 2025, and things are really starting to escalate. We're here to explain exactly what that means. 37. Just let that number sink in, because as of today, that's how many days the U.S. government has been shut down. Okay, so where are we right at this moment? To put it simply, we are right on the brink of some major disruptions. The pressure is building, literally by the hour. And when I say right now, I mean today. A massive travel crisis, the one everyone's been worried about for weeks, is officially kicking off. This isn't a future problem anymore. This is happening at dozens of the country's busiest airports starting now. You know, this didn't just happen overnight. This timeline really shows how fast things have gotten worse. Over the weekend, we saw staffing shortages causing big delays. But today is a whole new level. 40 airports, and that includes the big Core 30 hubs, are now cutting their airspace capacity by 10%. And all of this is leading up to a really critical Senate vote this Friday that could finally end this thing.
To really get why everyone is under so much pressure, we have to look at the sheer scale of this stalemate. This is not just another shutdown. This is historic.
I'm going to say it again, 37 days. That officially makes this the longest government shutdown in the history of the United States. We are deep into unprecedented territory here. So what does that actually mean in human terms? It means 900,000 federal workers are furloughed. That's almost 1 million people who aren't earning a paycheck right now. But that's not even the whole picture. Look at this number, 2 million. These are the so-called essential federal workers. We're talking about TSA agents, air traffic controllers, federal law enforcement. They are required by law to show up to their jobs, but they are not getting paid for it. And for a lot of them, the uncertainty just got a whole lot worse. Over 700,000 of those furloughed workers were just told their time off from work is being extended another 30 days. That pushes the new end date all the way to November 29th. And this is hitting major agencies like the Departments of Commerce, Justice, and Homeland Security, even NASA. So the key takeaway here is that this goes so far beyond Washington, D.C. or some abstract political fight. Let's actually look at the very real human toll this shutdown is taking on millions of Americans right now across the country. To really understand the stakes, just listen to this. A federal judge actually had to issue a court order just to fund the SNAP program, that's food assistance, for November. And his reasoning was absolutely stark. He said, without SNAP funding, 16 million children are immediately at risk of going hungry. It just does not get more real than that. So who's bearing the brunt of all this? Well, it's those families who rely on food assistance. It's the furloughed and unpaid federal workers we just talked about. And pretty soon, it's going to be the U.S. military. For the first time ever during a government shutdown, 1.1 million active duty military members are about to miss a paycheck. That's set to happen on November 14th. So with all these impacts piling up, we get to the main question. How does this end? Well, the answer is tied up in a deep political stalemate. And finding a path forward means trying to understand the debate that's happening in Washington right now. For those 900,000 furloughed workers, one of the biggest questions is probably this one. When this is all over, will I get paid for the time I was forced to miss? The answer? Well, it's just one piece of a very complicated puzzle. And this slide really lays out the two competing views on this one issue. A draft legal opinion from the Office of Management and Budget basically argues that, legally, workers can't get retroactive pay unless Congress specifically writes it into law. But on the other side, you have lawmakers like Senator Susan Collins, who believes furloughed employees absolutely should get their back pay. This single issue really highlights the huge divide that has to be bridged. So, this all comes to a head this Friday. That's when the Senate is expected to hold that key vote we mentioned earlier, a vote that could potentially end this crisis. It is no exaggeration to say that all eyes in the country will be on what happens then. And that leaves us with the final, unavoidable question. With travel chaos starting, food assistance on the line, and millions of families stuck in financial limbo, all because of a political standoff, what will it finally take for our leaders to reach a resolution?